The Weekly Warp Pipe.
What's up, my Warp Pipers, and welcome back to another weekly Warp Pipe. This week we're diving into our top movies from growing up. Now, we did make a post that specified 80s movies, but we included some 90s movies as well. So when we get to read your comments and voicemails, they're sticking to 80s movies, which is fine. There's tons of 80s movies out there that are fantastic, but with our list, we added some 90s as well. Riding Bogus is back, and I throw some awesome treats at the guys from back in the day. They have trouble deciding which one to snack on. The Wheel of Doom topic is Mario based, so you won't want to miss that. That's at the end of the video. All right, guys, it's going to be a good one, so sit back, relax, enjoy some nostalgia, and let's jump in the Warp Pipe. Whoa, guys, it's been so long since I've seen you all.
Oh, wow. Days.
Been weeks, right? No.
Right?
We're joking because we're recording the podcast early because I'm going on a trip, so we needed to shift our schedule. This way we can get it out still on time because we don't want to miss a week, because the show is called the Weekly Warp Pipe, not the every other week pipe.
The bi-weekly Warp Pipe.
The bi-weekly Warp Pipe.
Bi-weekly, yeah. For sure.
But yes, I am going to... So I'm taking a quick detour trip. Me and the wife are going to Las Vegas, baby, for 2 days. So we're going to hang out there. She actually booked a Cirque du Soleil show that has to do with Michael Jackson. So I assume they're dancing to his music or something. So that sounds interesting. Although I did bring up Carrot Top, and he's performing at the hotel we were staying at, but she's like, I don't want to see him. And I'm unsure if I do. I don't know. I don't even know.
Go see Wayne Newton.
Go see Wayne Newton. But we're there for 2 days. Then we're driving from there to Phoenix, Arizona, where I'll be at for the weekend Game On Expo. First time going to this convention. John, Gamester81, puts on the show, and it's their 10-year of doing it. So that's a big celebration for sure. And it sounds like a great time. I was going through, seeing who guests are going. Mort's going to be there. John Riggs is going to be there. John Hancock, Metal Jesus, a bunch of people. Tony Hawk's coming. This is his first game convention appearance. So you can meet him. He's only going Saturday. So if you want to get, a skate debt signed or sign your copy of Tony Hawk Pro Skater,
that'd be awesome.
You
get
can
a
do
skate
that.
deck
Do a kick
signed
flip
by
for
him.
him?
Yeah. So I'm super excited about that. Me and the wife will be there hanging out. And I do have a panel on Sunday at 1:00. They have a ton of panels. I'm looking at the schedule. I'm at 1:00. I'm up against Metal Jesus and crew. It's also 1:00. But there's also 6 other panels happening at 1:00. Like, there's got to be tons of rooms of just panels. So whoever shows up to it, I appreciate you coming up. If you end up going to Game On Expo and hearing this Sunday 1:00, come hear me talk about video game DIY.
Nice. Do you know, have you ever been to Game On Expo?
No, nope, never. I've been to Arizona driving through it, but that's about it. So excited to see the town. And
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, let us know next week how it is. Yeah, for sure.
And I'll be bringing my camera, filming a bunch of stuff. So we'll see how it goes.
Nice.
What about you, Dave?
Going on? What about me?
I know you're excited to talk about what you've been going
on. We had Cruise and Retro grand opening in Vernon, Connecticut over the weekend, and it was a very big success. There was people lined up out the door before the doors actually opened. I did a whole day of filming. I was there from I showed up at like 9 a.m. The doors didn't open until 12, but I was there from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. to when he closed. And so I got to see the whole day unfold. It was super fun. You'll see the video. I started working on a video today, so hopefully within the next week or so I can get it done. First, YouTube video back on YouTube. So I'm kind of taking my time, kind of getting my intro ready and everything. So it should be fun. But one thing to note was he had a Zelda collection in the case. Like, it was all Zelda games and all Zelda collectibles.
Yeah,
dude, they were gone in an hour.
Oh wow! Now, spanning from OG Zelda stuff, or just kind of newer, like
It was
Breath of the
mostly
Wild.
OG. No, it was
Oh,
mostly
okay.
OG, like, collectibles, the Nintendo trophies.
Hmm.
There was a puzzle, there was a placemat, so much stuff. A lot of the games kinda trickled out through the day, but that one shelf and there's a whole video on it because the guy who our friend Grant, who Cruz bought the collection from, was
Oh, I
there.
see. Yeah.
So I have a whole little section in the video basically saying, "Hey, he's come back, he's gonna buy back his collection,"
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so it's a good time, so but it
Nice.
was a big success, and the store is officially open. A lot of content creators were there. It was super fun. He had the warp pipe
I
on
did see
in
that. You
the
tagged
yep.
us
So that
playing.
was good. And dude, it's a good shop. So go check it out.
How far is it from you, Vernon, Connecticut?
Oh, I would say like 35, 40 minutes. It's past Hartford, so it's straight up 84 and past Manchester. So it's about 40 minutes, but it's an easy drive. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
I know
Nice.
for you it's a little longer.
Yeah, I think it hits about that hour mark.
Yeah. So one of these days we'll get together. The two of us will go up. We'll go see Cruz, and he's going to be there on the weekends, and he has other people working during the week. He's open every day except for Monday.
Oh, Penny's saying hello.
Penny, what did you do this week?
Ate some treats. Dad put me on a diet because I'm 23 pounds.
What about you,
Eh,
Keith? What are you up to?
I went to a nerd show, they called it, in the city of Calgary, which is about 45 minutes to an hour away from me. So we went there on Saturday. It was beautiful. When we left here and we got there, it was a snowstorm. So we only stayed for probably about an hour and a half. And I've been teasing you guys before we started, but I did buy some games while I was there. I got some gooders here. So I picked up, we'll leave that one for the last. So I got
Little Samson.
the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. I picked this one
okay.
up. So add that to the collection. I got Bases Loaded 4. So that's my
Wow.
Bases Loaded set. He had 2 copies. My buddy Ryan had 2 copies of
Okay.
Little Samson there.
Really?
Yeah, he sure did. I didn't buy that. I bought James Bond Jr.
James Bond Jr.
And then I did buy a bit of a heavy for me. I added Cowboy Kid to my
Okay.
collection. So this is the heavy one that I bought. So this one, he had it Canadian. I got it written down so I remember. He had it for $530 Canadian, which equals out to about $368 US. So
Mhm.
he sold it to me for 450 Canadian, which is 312 American. So I did get it
Okay.
for a little bit less than it's actually worth.
Hmm.
But I picked those up. I also picked up Yo Noid, but
Oh,
these ones
nice.
were the heavy ones I
The
got.
heavy ones.
This is
Yeah.
a really fun game. I was really shocked how cool Cowboy Kid
I
actually is.
watched Mega Dan 29 stream that one time, and I was like, wow,
Yeah,
this is actually
it's
a hidden
super
gem.
cool,
Like,
right?
What is it? Because I don't think I've played it.
It's like a kind of side scroller adventure style one. You can play 2 players, and you're kind of kitty looking, but you're a cowboy. You're moving around into town. You get hired on as the sheriff, and then it's got like wanted posters. You got to go and get all these bad guys, these wanted posters.
hmm,
So I ended up going to track a guy down in town, and he ran away from me. And then I had to chase him to a train station, and then the next part was on a train. As far as
nice.
I
Yeah,
played
yeah.
it, but it was pretty sweet. They also there was a vendor there that had the Lone Ranger, which is another one I've been looking for. But someone had scratched, and one video stores used to like etch stuff in. And on the side here on that Lone Ranger one, it had video update, which was a rental store
Oh,
here that I
okay.
used to have. So someone had carved it in and then the phone number, and it was like, oh, if that wasn't carved in there, I would have got that one too. But it was a cool show. It was packed. There was tons of people there. And yeah, my buddy Craig met me there, and we toured around and talked about what we're gonna do when we have our show up here. And yeah, it was a good time. And then drove home in a blizzard.
I've never seen a video
Nice.
store carve into the
Yeah,
games.
I want to see that
have.
conversation to the employee. We got new
Right?
games in, Rick. Can you
Just
carve our name into the sides of them?
right? I
Oh
have
yeah, I
one
got you.
somewhere. I wish I would have pulled that out, but I do have one that I didn't even realize when I bought it, and it's
Mhm.
literally carved right into it. It's like,
Wow.
yeesh.
I
Yeah,
don't
right into
mind
the
the
plastic.
sticker because then that's like, hey,
Yeah.
kind of preserving a little history. You're like, damn, man, carved in.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
It was I
crazy.
was like, just destroy that poor cartridge, right? So that's what I ended up doing in the limited time it's been since I've seen you guys, but really excited to get that one. That's been on my hit list for like a year and a half to get Cowboy Kid. So
Nice. That's good to
yeah, so that's
put
what
it
I ended
right
up
there.
doing.
I mean, I'm a fan of Yo Noid, so I'm glad that you got Yo Noid.
Right? I was stoked when I found that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't made a list of what I'm want to hunt for at the expo, so I'm almost curious what I'll be on the search for. You know, I like Tiger handhelds, so maybe try to grab one of those. I kind of gravitate more towards the like toys and like collectible stuff. Like I said, I haven't picked up a retro game in quite some time,
Yeah.
just because I'm pretty much content with my retro stuff, unless it's
Mhm.
a new game. I know John Hancock and Riggs, I think, are going to have some games that they've done. Um, John Riggs
On
was
this.
showing off a copy of Goonies 1 because Goonies only came out in Japan on the Famicom. We got
Mhm.
Goonies 2.
Yeah.
Right.
So he did a ROM of it so you could have it on NES cart. And I was like, Goonies 1 actually I feel is the better game because it doesn't have as much for you to do. You're just in that main level. Looks exactly like Goonies 2 that we got, but you're
Mm.
just getting keys and completing a level. There's no going into that first person doors and like searching for stuff. So I feel like it's easier to pick up and play.
There's a Ghostbusters like that too, right? Where the Ghostbusters they got in Japan, maybe it's Ghostbusters 2, I can't remember,
Yes,
but it's like
it is.
really good, like super cool looking, but we never got that here. It's kind of sad.
I think it came out on the Game Boy. It's a
Did
similar
it?
version because
Yeah.
it's like a top down, almost Zombies
Yeah.
Ate My Neighbor style, and you
Yeah.
got two Ghostbusters and you're going around.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'll try it on the Game
funny
Boy.
story, Cruz had that at his opening, and I actually helped price stuff out and stock some shelves for a couple of days for Friday and Saturday beforehand, and I remember putting that one in the, um, in the case, and I think I have it. I think our friend what is that one?
That's the one
Is
we're
that
talking.
it?
Yeah,
That's the one?
so you could kind of see some screenshots if you're watching here on YouTube, but it's kind of like that top down perspective.
Yeah,
But
so he had
all
it,
Ghostbusters
Awesome.
too.
I was gonna pick it up, and then by the end of the day, it was sold because I had a little bit of a credit, but then I thought to myself, I think our friend Dan traded it with me a while ago, so I didn't remember if I actually had it. So
Got
here
a
it
nice
is.
Nice.
green cart
Yeah,
too.
So
that's
that is the
cool.
Game Boy version?
This isn't, but there's a Game Boy version of like this game that it plays. Like
Okay.
That's
this is the
actually
it's the European version
Oh, I
of
see.
yeah,
I see.
Ghostbusters 2.
Okay. Nice.
looks super cool.
I got it in a weird, like thick rental case, almost like.
It's a cool case.
No doubt, eh?
So yeah, I mean, I'm always on the lookout for cool stuff like that. Um, Other than that, don't know what I'll be picking up. Definitely excited to have some food though.
Gotta get a pretzel.
Gotta get a pretzel.
You
That's my thing.
guys
Sweet.
ready to dive into this?
Yeah, we'll dive into some warp pipe rental then.
All right, so this week we picked a really awesome Super Nintendo game. So hit it, Russ.
Let's head to the video store, grab a game for the weekend. We have the box art and description to guide us when we're choosing what game to rent. So grab your rental card because this is the Warp Pipe Rental.
What game you rent for the weekend?
Nice. We got none other than Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo. Take a look at this box art here. It says, an incredible 3D adventure in the Kingdom of Kong. And it's got a lot going on for sure. You got these bees coming out. You see Donkey
Right?
Kong running away. Diddy's on a rhino. You're like, okay, what's happening with that? See some snakes going on. I definitely enjoy the color scheme of everything with his logo, the greens for like the jungle and the like tear almost on the box where it's like only for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Kind of gets you pumped to play the game. And I did mention they sent out, if you were part of Nintendo Power, they had a little preview VHS that
hmm
showed some of the gameplay, and they did some interviews at the it was the Nintendo Treehouse was the team putting it together. But definitely exciting for sure to get into this playthrough.
Yeah. Have you guys have all played it before? I'm guessing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
I had it
You
as a
guys were
kid.
you
Yeah,
did.
it is kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not because um I did not have a Super Nintendo growing up. My neighbor did, so I had the Sega Genesis. So I didn't play this until later on. And this was, if I'm not mistaken, on Super Nintendo, this was like one of the first kind of realistic looking graphic
Right,
games.
they were really pushing the
Yeah.
graphics, like, when you got the VHS tape and, like, you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
man, this is, like, the most cutting edge 3D image scanning,
Yeah.
hyperspace," like, whatever words they're using. It just got you pumped and excited, and then, I mean, it did look really good. There's a lot of background textures when you're going through the
hmm
jungle and the
Even
sound, even sound
foreground
design.
textures, right?
Yeah.
Like,
There
there's even, like,
there was, like
foreground to it.
right, yeah, I mean, rain, like, elements, you got the rain stages, and man, definitely a good time playing this one for sure. I don't know if I got it like at launch or if I was renting it from Blockbuster, but I know I was super excited after watching that tape to get this game and dive into it. And definitely
Yeah.
it's huge. There's so many levels to go through. We got to
Yeah.
talk about minecart level. Did you get up to the minecart level? My god.
Yes. Yes. I
Minecart
still
Carnage or whatever it is, that was complete carnage. I couldn't make it through that level.
That's
Like
this game's turbo tunnel to Battletoads.
like, it literally had me sitting there when I was playing it being like, "I know I made it past here as a kid. So
Mhm.
what am I doing? Like, what's going on here?" I don't remember it being that difficult, which is crazy. I remember playing with my buddy Tyler, and, like, we were way, way deep into the game. So the hour it took me to not beat that level, trying to play it as an adult is crazy to me. Like, I don't know.
I think our hand-eye coordination is just not as fast anymore in
I
our
mean, some of the
Right?
range.
jumps you gotta be at the edge
Yes.
Like,
of that track to, like
precise. Guess I
Mhm.
should have put my glasses on, then maybe I would have been able to see.
So who'd you guys play more as? Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong?
I
Would you
was more
switch?
Donkey Kong. Yeah, I
Me too.
mean, I was mainly Donkey Kong, and then, for some reason, I don't know why, but I think I would switch to Diddy Kong for the minecart, which is kind of weird because I don't think it really matters. Um, but I mean, maybe having Diddy Kong, like, in the front of it. But, dude, it's such a fun game, and honestly, I think that it's my favorite of
The
all
trilogy.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's my
Mhm.
favorite of the 3 of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hadn't played the other 2 growing up, so I only recently went back and tried those, and I don't know if it's just because I spent so much time on
Mhm.
Donkey Kong Country, you tend to like that one, or because it's first in the series and they wanted to try to switch it up with later releases. I'm like, I don't know. The first one's such a classic.
Yeah.
Good music. I was telling them when I go take a shower, I put on the aquatic ambience from the water level and just
Yep.
Yeah.
have it on repeat, and I'm like so relaxing.
I don't
Right.
know, guys. I think in the future for a Rad or Bogus, there might be a little thing for video game music, and there might be a little toss up between Aquatic Ambience and the DuckTales Moon theme.
We'll see. We'll see. I feel like different vibes,
But
so
Even
it's
just like,
yeah,
feeling.
Mario underwater music compared to
Right.
Kong.
Donkey Kong.
oh, there is no
Interesting.
comparison.
Not really.
Oh,
Not
there's
really.
no comparison. Aquatic Ambience for the win.
Right?
What about you, Keith? What did you think of everything?
I remember loving this game as a kid. As an adult, like we were talking, like the jumps and I was great till I got to the minecart. And this is the second time I've picked it up as an adult, and I've been like, I'm gonna play through this both times. Minecart, minecart carnage, complete carnage. Like the fact that you crash the minecart and you're pressing forward. I don't know why I press forward when I'm doing it, but I am pressing forward when I'm doing it. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I crashed the minecart. Oh, there I go. The other character jumps out of the minecart when you
Right.
crash and you just cruise off into nothingness. Even when
Mhm.
you load in, because I made it halfway through the minecart level, and
Mhm.
you have a
Yep.
little barrel with stars on it. When you load in, if you're pressing forward when you load in,
You missed the
you cruise
cart.
right past
Yeah.
and you miss the cart, right?
Yep.
Because you come out of the
Mhm.
barrel, woo, woo, and off you go, right? So
That was a
I
good monkey
wanna
sound too.
I wanna get through the minecart level so badly, just so I can keep playing it, but
So you haven't beaten it? You haven't beaten the
no,
minecart at all?
no, no, I
Gotta get the
don't.
gotta get the super game genie.
I was so close, but I just keep dying.
So
What
are
about you
you
guys?
are you getting hit mostly or are you falling?
A little from column A and a little from column B, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I can normally make the jumps,
Mhm.
like when you're dodging the incoming enemy, but
Right.
Mhm.
like those mine carts, try to clear those crash mine carts is
Right, yeah.
it's very
It's
tight.
it's a lot of memorization for sure,
Yeah.
Right?
repetitiveness.
And then I feel like I get frustrated. I'll get further than I've been before, and then I'm frustrated, and then I have to, like, crash a bunch of times to calm myself down so that I'm like,
Mhm.
"Okay, no, no, you remember what you're doing. You got this."
Right, right.
But it's an awesome game, and I love it to death, but it is a little rough as an adult for sure.
Yeah. I do have
Yeah.
a little bit of newer nostalgia for it because when my daughter was what 1 or 2, I don't remember. Russ, you would remember. It was the first time I took her to Retro World Expo,
Okay.
and one of the first things that we bought was this Donkey Kong Country clamshell case.
Okay.
Nice.
And so I have this in the collection, and this will never get sold because this was the first thing I bought with my daughter at a game convention. And it was only the case, so it was only a couple bucks, but I had the game at home, so you know, I put the game in there and it's good to go. So, but it's really nice, and it's the only kind of like clamshell case I have for a Super Nintendo game. The shit's yeah, sits on the shelf
Sits
and
on the shelf.
sits on the shelf, and it's really nice to have. It's pretty sweet
Nice.
looking.
Yeah.
That's cool looking.
Yeah.
Do we, do we spoil the ending at all? I feel like there's a
I mean,
fun
it's been like 30
you
years, I think
you guys
so.
haven't played.
It's kinda spoiler at this point.
I didn't beat it on this playthrough, but beating it in the past, you go up against, King Croc. I'm trying to remember his name
Yeah,
now.
King
so
K.
yeah,
Rule.
yeah.
King K. Rule, that's it, okay. And you're fighting on the ship, the freaking
Mhm.
music's going, and I've never seen this happen before on a game, but you defeat him and start celebrating, and you right, you put your controller down, you're like, "I did it," and he comes back, and the battle's not over, and you gotta be like, "Oh, crap, like, where's my controller?" And then finish off the battle. I thought that was such a, like, "Wait a minute" moment.
Yeah, yeah.
But great music in that for sure.
Yeah,
Um, we got Funky Kong in there, right?
Mhm.
Surfing Kong. Um, and Grandpa Kong supposedly, right? Supposed to be the original
right?
Donkey Kong from the
Cranky
arcade.
Kong.
Cranky
Cranky
Kong. You're
Kong,
right,
yeah,
Cranky
Yeah.
Kong.
yeah.
Just the intro with Cranky Kong playing the
Yeah, go with
with
the
the, like, doo doo doo
Yeah,
doo,
yeah.
doo 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 doo,
yeah,
So
and
yeah.
then all of a sudden
classic.
it kicks in when Donkey Kong shows up with his ghetto blaster,
Right. Yeah. It's got the boombox.
right?
And it's wild too, because wasn't that the first Donkey Kong platformer? There
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
one prior to that, so, like, this was just completely out of left field for a Donkey Kong game.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean,
did a good world building with it.
yeah, because there would have been, like, Donkey Kong Junior Math, and there was
Right.
Donkey Kong oh, that would have been the other one was the same year, so even the Game Boy version wouldn't have been different, right? Like, it was just kind of I mean, it was a little more platformy with Mario, but that was about it, right?
Right.
So this was way out of left field when it came out. I think that's why it was so popular. when it came out, right? It's because all of us kids were like, "What? We get to play as Donkey Kong doing what?"
And
You
we
get to go in
didn't,
a mine cart.
I was gonna say, we
Right?
didn't even bring up the freaking animals you get to ride. Like, how cool
Oh
Right?
was
yeah.
that? You got the rhino. I wish I knew the
Mhm.
names. I don't know the names of part.
The
So
swordfish.
the swordfish in the freaking
Yep.
water, the ostrich, the frog.
Yep.
I think
The
that was all
frog,
of
Yep.
them.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that was all of them. But that was so cool. I was like, just so many secrets in replayability going through the levels. Or like, oh, if I'm on the rhino, I can bust through this wall and get extra bananas. If you start the level and immediately go left, you could go inside and get a one up, like spelling out Kong,
Call.
getting the
Yep.
letters. Like they
Getting
just
little
had it
gold
so much. Yeah.
animals too.
Yep.
Like
Like,
even first level, you load in and it's like you can see there's bananas up high. You're like, how do I get up
right.
there? This is a secret. How do I
Yes.
do this? Right?
And I just feel like that almost became a staple with a lot of future games because now you see that in like the Mario games. It's not just like get from point A to point B. It's like, okay, do that, but you could also get these purple coins as a bonus thing, or
Right.
these like round star coins as like an extra bonus. So probably all stemmed from Donkey Kong Country having all that extra stuff, extra content.
So what are we rating it?
5 stars. What about you, Dave?
I'm going 5 gold coins, just like in Donkey Kong Country.
Keith?
Give it a 4.5 just because I
Okay.
can't get past the carnage that is the minecart.
I feel it.
Once I get past the
Ooh.
minecart carnage later on tonight, it'll be a 5. So it might as well just be a 5. It's
Safe
an
states.
incredible game.
Safe
Safe
state.
states.
Always playing on
Safe
original
states.
hardware or
I'm playing it on original hardware
got
though.
the cartridge? Nice. Well, we'll jump to the comments. We asked you guys for this rental, what you guys thought about it. Hopefully you played it and left us some feedback.
What did you say? What did you say?
Springfield, let's hear from you.
What do we got here on our YouTube page? We got Steve V's Man Cave Arcade. Donkey Kong Country was the first game I got for the SNES. It came bundled with my console. I can't count how many hours I clocked into the game. I remember being amazed by the graphics right off the bat. The 3D sprites were like nothing I've ever seen before. The gameplay was awesome, and the soundtrack complemented the game perfectly. So many great levels, lands, and secrets to explore. Fast forward to 2025, and I recently purchased Donkey Kong Country Returns for the Switch. It has so many elements from the original game that hits your nostalgia, but also offers something fresh and new. Would recommend for any OG Donkey Kong Country fan. Now, I haven't picked that up, and I do believe that was a 3DS game, right?
I think it was the Wii version.
Oh, right. Might have been on the Wii even.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think it was the Wii version. I have not picked it up either. I would like to. That would be fun. Have you guys played Tropical Freeze?
That's what I was going to say. That was another one.
That one was tough.
I
Real
haven't.
tough. It's Donkey Kong hard.
Over on our Instagram, Alex Kaz. My favorite SNES game. I didn't have an SNES growing up, but I used to play this on an emulator on my computer back in the mid 90s. Yes, emulators existed even back then. I was blown away by the minecart level.
Me too.
8-Bit Warrior says, you guys are killing it on the rental choices. Back in the day, I think we probably would have enjoyed playing video games at each other's houses. Donkey Kong Country is arguably my absolute favorite video game ever made. The graphics were revolutionary. Gameplay and style was so cutting edge. I absolutely fell in love with the simple story. I felt like it presented the perfect challenge for a person of my age at the time. Challenging, but not impossible. I was just floored by the game. First time playing was at our local BJ's wholesale store at a Super Nintendo kiosk up front. I would stay and play that while my mom shopped, and I was hooked. I still play this game about once a year. Also, this game has one of the best boxes ever made. It was so visually appealing. Cheers. Yeah,
That's super cool, yeah.
that's what I was saying before. I said the box art's awesome. Let's see, we got a few if you want a reel here. MM73X. Never actually played it when it came out. Look forward to the review. So, hey, grab a copy, pick it up. It's definitely a good one. Lopez Drummer. My first time playing this game was back in 2020 during COVID. I was cleaning out my closet when all of a sudden I found my brother's Super NES console along with Donkey Kong Country. I never played SNES growing up, so I started playing the game every day. I enjoyed it so much that it helped me get through the hard time after losing my mom. This game will always have a place in my heart forever. And we got Thai Gaming. What a fantastic game. Going from Super Mario World to this was such a treat. It has great platforming. The controls are simple to use, and there is so many secrets in the game. The bosses are not very difficult, but then again, neither were Mario's, but they were a lot of fun. For me, where this game separates from Mario is the platforming. It is a challenging, but not impossible. When you make it through some of these levels, and whether it's through the minecart madness or snow barrel blast, it was a ton of fun to play through. And one of the other key things that make it so good to play through is the music. Overall, the game is fantastic. I'm currently on the second to final world, Creme Croc Industries, and will push to beat it. An easy 5 out of 5 for me. Nice. Yeah, overall census, I think, is this is a great game. If you haven't played it,
Good. Yeah.
definitely pick it up and enjoy some Donkey Kong Country. What are we getting into next week for a rental, Dave?
I'm excited for next week's rental because we played Super Metroid a few weeks back, and now Russ has handpicked Metroid Zero Mission on
That's right.
Game
That's
Boy
right.
Advance. And if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, you said that it's based on the first Metroid game?
Yeah, I'm super stoked on this one here. This is basically a remake of Metroid on NES, but it looks like Metroid Fusion if you played that in Game Boy Advance, or similar to a Super Metroid. And there's some added like cutscenes in it that make it stand out. There's added content after you beat Mother Brain. So you get to a whole new level over there. And they do make it a little easy for you. So there's a full map and it does show you kind of where you need to go in the map. Like when you get to a certain section, it'll be like, here you are. You need to get up here. So then you can explore if you want. And then, hey, where am I supposed to be going? I'll go over here. So it's very easy to play through. I'm excited because I'm just going to bring it on the plane with me and definitely beat it on the trip. So I'll have a
Mhm.
full review for you. I do try to beat this once a year. If I skip a year, that's fine, but it's a great way to experience that original story in updated format.
I was excited because also when I was at Cruise and Retro this weekend, he has the Play Choice 10 in the store, and I did play a little bit of the original Metroid in there with the map on the second
Yes.
screen. I know you have it too as well, Russ.
Yep, I have it on my play choice. It'd be cool to do like a live stream. Now it doesn't update where you are on the map, but it shows you the map, so you have to keep track of how many spots you're over or whatever. Very
I'm
interesting for sure.
I mean, it's better than the original Nintendo game did for you.
Right, yeah, they gave you nothing.
Right. Sweet.
Sweet. Wraps it up.
Okay, guys. You ready?
No,
We're doing it again.
don't do it
Name
again.
that quote.
Hey, I bet you can't name that quote. I was surprised that we did fairly well with how much game you were talking last week. So
Still,
I
be
am
gentle,
surprised
please.
too. Okay, so the theme this week, guys, I am cutting it back. I'm making it a little bit easier on you. The last one though is gonna be tricky, okay? But the theme this week is John Hughes movies.
okay,
So that should narrow it down a little bit. He
Yeah,
does
there's
have
only like
some
500
really
of those.
he does have some good ones. So, and there's
oh,
also yes.
I gotta cut in. We forgot to play the voicemail for Donkey Kong Country. We had one.
Well, I
Oh
guess
no.
Do we wait?
do we wait? We'll wait.
Rewind.
We'll wait.
We'll wait. We'll play it during the
Wait.
voicemails. I apologize.
play it.
I just kidding. All right.
Good thing we're not doing this on long form. All right. So anyway, we're doing John Hughes movies, and there are a lot of them. So yes, but I was very surprised to find out certain movies were John Hughes movies as I was doing this list. So let's get into the first one, guys. I rated this one. I mean, this is like a 2-star. I think you guys are going to get this one no problem. But I'll say the quote. Don't give it away until we play the clip, just so people listening can kind of get
Okay.
it as well.
All right.
Here we go. Number 1. The question isn't what are we going to do? The question is what aren't we going to do?
Hmm.
Name that quote.
Hmm.
Any ideas?
You pondering. I'm pretty sure I have.
Better play it.
Here.
The question isn't what are we going to do. The question is what aren't we going to do.
Easy enough.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Correct.
Ding, ding, ding,
Bueller.
ding.
Bueller.
Yay. Got it, guys.
Nice.
Yeah, I gave that. Yeah, that one was pretty easy. I went easy on you for that one.
Fair enough.
The next one, maybe 3.5 stars. It's a little bit more of a deeper cut, but not as a deep of a cut as the third one. So let's go to number 2 here.
Okay.
All right, here we go. I understand that you little guys start out with your whoobies and you think they're great, and they are. They're terrific. Pretty soon, a whoopee isn't enough. You're out on the street trying to score an electric blanket or maybe even a quilt. And the next thing you know, you're strung out on bedspreads, Ken.
Such a wild line.
It's a great line. It's so
I've heard
good.
it before. I can't place it.
What about you, Russ?
It's not ringing a bell to me right now, at least. I don't know if him
Okay.
saying it is gonna, but there it is.
Listen to me. I understand that you little guys start out with your whoopies and you think they're great. And they are. They are terrific. But pretty soon, a whoopee isn't enough. You're out in the street trying to score an electric blanket or maybe a quilt. And the next thing you know, you're strung out on bedspreads, Ken.
Gosh.
It's a fun one.
I feel like I've seen the movie, but I can't place the name at all.
We have definitely seen the movie, yes.
Is it?
Right.
I almost feel like it's a holiday movie with the music that was playing in the background, but I don't think
It is not.
It's not
It
a
is
holiday
not a
movie?
holiday movie.
Okay. I got no guesses on this one.
Would you like a hint?
Yes.
The character that says this quote
Mhm.
is also Batman.
I was gonna say it sounded very
Yeah.
familiar to.
No.
I have.
Oh, no.
I want to say it's this movie, but I feel like it's. I've recently watched it, and I don't know if it. I'll just go off on a limb in here. Is it Mr. Mom?
Yes!
Wow.
Good job.
That was the direction I was going to.
We just watched that like maybe 2 months ago or something. My friend Mike Butler does a podcast called Forgotten Cinema, and they had
Mhm.
brought this movie up, and I was like, dude, I'd never seen it, and they were hyping it up, and I was like, I'm a big Michael Keaton fan, so I'm like, I gotta check this out.
Oh, so you had never seen it before
Never seen
that?
it before that.
Oh,
Yeah,
so what did you think?
it's like comedy, this and that. I feel like the story is just like whatever. You're just along for the ride. Like he loses his job, and then he's watching the kids.
Yeah.
And you're like, here's all the mayhem that happens. Enjoy the ride.
And I didn't remember that it was a John Hughes movie, so when I was going through the names, I was like, Mr. Mom. I was like, oh, okay,
I wouldn't
that's a
even
different one.
thought. That's kind of what threw me was I was trying to think of what a John Hughes movie is like.
Right.
What is he in? That's one of those.
Right.
Right.
Good one.
Okay, good. So the next one I gave a 4 out of 5. I personally don't think you guys are going to get it, but if you do, I'm going to be very, very impressed.
Challenge accepted.
It is a deep cut. It is a deep cut. And I, for the life of me, had no idea this was a John Hughes movie.
Okay.
So, quote number 3, guys. Here we go. Why do Chet's kids look at him like he's Zeus? And my kids look at me like I'm a rack of lawn tools at Sears? Name that quote.
Name that guy. It seems like Keith knows it. That
Keith
it does
knows
ring a
it?
bell. He's
Wait, all right.
throwing
Let's
fists.
play it.
Let's
Play it.
play it.
Why is it that Chet's kids look at him like he's Zeus? My kids look at me like I'm a rack of yard tools at Sears.
Such a good movie. So good. Challenge accepted, David. It's got a bald-headed bear in it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Russ,
It
anything?
also, it,
A
it also
bald-headed
has
bear.
it
John
also has
Candy
the
in it.
old '90s Sixer.
The old 90s. It's got the gristle. He's like, oh, oh.
Yep.
The great outdoors.
That's right.
The Great Outdoors. I
4
don't
out
know
of
if I see that.
5. John Candy movie.
Who says the quote?
Dan Aykroyd.
Correct.
Nice.
That I
So it
know
is him.
something. I know something.
And that one's listen, I'm going to give you a lot of credit because that one's extremely difficult because it's literally like at the very beginning of the movie. Like it's not one of those it's kind of one of those throwaway lines where he's in the bathroom and he's like picking at his nose hair.
He's
So
got the twin daughters, right?
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
yes, it's a deep cut.
Such a good
so
movie.
for sure.
Such a good movie.
So congratulations, guys. You did it. So
Oh,
you got
hey,
what?
Russ.
3 out of 3 between the between the two of you.
Nice.
I did take it easy, but that I am impressed with that last one for sure. 100%.
Right when you said said the name, when you said Chet, I was like, the wheel started turning. I was like, I know what that is.
Well, so that could have thrown some people off too, because that was also the brother in
Weird Science.
Weird Science.
Yeah.
So you got it though.
Which is where my brain went first, and then when you finished it with the kids, I was like, I know what that is.
Right, because I think Chet from the Weird Science is a little bit more of a popular character.
But
Then
it's definitely don't look at him anyway, because he's just a lump of poo, right?
That's right. That's right. Yep. Well, good job, guys. I'm very very happy for you. And next week maybe I'll go a little more difficult for you.
Dial it up a little bit.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Perfect.
So we're on to rad or bogus. We each are going to pick one topic, 2 different things from that topic. We're going to keep one that's rad and throw the other one away that's bogus. Go ahead, Russ.
Bogus.
Nice.
I guess I'm going first today. Looks like.
Sure.
And I brought a little bit of heat for you again. I'm doing cartoons.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Now they're cartoons we would have watched as kids, but they were from maybe a little bit before us because we're all kind of right in that same age range. But
Okay.
it's going to be Jetsons or the
Mhm.
Flintstones.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this is an easy one for me.
Oh, it's an
Jetsons,
easy one.
100%. Yes.
Yeah?
Jetsons,
Yeah?
100%. Dude, it's so futuristic. You got basically like the future, and then you got cavemen.
Right.
And growing up in the 80s, we had movies like Back to the Future and all that stuff. Dude, I mean, yeah, it was like so much to look forward to for the future, right? Like we're gonna be like having all this technology and living in space. Like obviously, in the 80s it's ahead of their time, but 100% Jetsons. No question.
That's what you're thinking.
I feel like Flintstones, right, is fun and we got it, but I feel like it definitely was made for like our parents, right? Because obviously it's based on like their characters like honeymooners, right? Bam Zoom to the Moon, like characters with Fred and all that. But so I feel like with the Jetsons, that was definitely like David says, geared more towards the kids with all this sci-fi and futuristic tech. It got you more excited than like, Stone Age stuff. Not so much. Yeah, I'd probably go Jetsons too. I'd say.
Plus the Jetsons movie.
Yeah.
Well,
The
there
Jetsons
was
movie was fire.
there was a
There was also-
crossover.
I was a Christmas crossover or something, right?
We're
Mhm.
Jetsons and Flintstones on the
Yeah.
same episode. I don't know how that worked. They had
I feel like
type of time travel
I
or
feel like Flintstones had like maybe some better story to it. Like it was, like you
okay.
said, it was more like fun. But yeah,
Mhm.
Jetsons for some reason was be my pick too. It just hits a little differently. Probably like you said, it's all futuristic and we were all looking forward to that as kids growing up and
Yeah.
living in those times, right? So
I
I would
think
agree with
there
you.
was like a conspiracy of like the Jetsons, right? Everything's up in the sky, right? And they're all space and this and that. And people were saying down below Flintstones is happening, right? That everyone's kind of de-evolved. It may not be back in the Stone Age, whatever it's current times, but just everyone down and living on
Oh,
the ground
interesting.
is
Hmm.
who
The
knows.
Flintstones are living in the depths, and the Jetsons are up in the Sky Islands.
Good old Zelda reference.
we are we do talk about games a lot.
All right, what do you got, Dave?
Well, wait, what's Keith say? Keith
He
said
said
Jetsons.
Jetsons, yeah.
I went
Okay,
Jetsons.
cool.
We got trifecta.
Okay.
We got Triforce for
Great.
you.
All right, I'm going with toys this week, and I'm going with some weird, gross toys.
Oh, okay.
So to toss up between Boglins or Mad Balls.
Oh, okay.
So we talked about Mad Balls on the podcast weeks
Yeah.
ago. We kind of made reference to Boglins a little bit, so I feel
Mhm.
like they're kind of in the same realm. So what do you
Yeah.
guys think? Talk it out.
I can't say I had Boglins growing up. I definitely had Mad Balls though.
Hmm.
And I feel like it being just a ball, maybe you can get more play out of it, of throwing it around, bouncing off with like the Boglins and having the arms and stuff.
Yeah, but
Not as
Boglins
fluent,
were
right? Or
puppets.
puppets too, right?
They were
Okay.
puppets, and you could move the eyes with them as
Okay.
well. So they were
That's
very
right.
interactive. Yes.
I'm leaning more towards Mad Balls, and I think just the themes that they had were cooler.
Okay.
Kind of for kid in the 80s growing up, like
Okay.
eyeballs and this and that. Well, Boglins were just more like they're all like troll looking and like that, right?
Hmm.
I'm going with Mad Balls.
Okay. How about you, Keith? I kind of have a feeling I know where Keith is going.
So I had a couple of Mad Balls growing up. I had the eyeballs. And I loved them. I thought they were awesome toys. Now, I rode a school bus from 'cause I'm out the country, so I rode a school bus to town. It was like an hour ride for me. And the last stop, the kid there, he always had all the fancy toys. They were a little more well off than the rest of us on the school bus. And I remember him rolling onto the school bus with a Boglin in its little crate, and we all got to play with it for like a split second as he was showing everybody on the school bus, which was incredibly cool to me. The eyes moved and it, it was that foamy rubber, which is why I'm gonna have to go with Boglin because that memory, that nostalgia from
Mhm.
that moment is so intense that I
Yeah, yeah.
even though I agree with you, Russ, that I think Mad Balls were fun to, whip at your sister and stuff, and but
Throw out the dog.
memory of Boglins is always gonna stick with me, which is why I have one from when they redid it with the Kickstarter or whatever, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I bought the exact same one that he brought on the school bus that day, so
nice.
Oh, nice.
it's gonna have to be Boglins for me.
Okay. For me, I'm probably leaning towards Mad Balls just because that's mainly what we had growing up. I know my brother had Fist Face. I'm pretty sure I had Slobulus. I know I have and I still have it. I have the Lock Lips head popper. And I'm still collecting them to this day. I'm on the hunt for the football and also the basketball, because I never had those, and those were kind of like the grail pieces even as kids. Boglins, are super cool puppets. I mean, the innovation of being able to move the eyes around was next level. But I'm gonna go with Mad Balls as pure, straight nostalgia overload.
Perfect. Nice. Well,
You're up.
enough about toys and fun stuff. I'm talking food, snacks.
Hey, food is fun.
Food is fun. That
Right.
is true. Dive into some some retro snacks. Planters cheese balls versus Doritos 3D.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Which snack is rad? Which is bogus?
Well, they still make cheese balls.
Yes, I want to say they had a like remake 3D one possibly come back with Doritos recently,
Yeah,
but I
Yeah,
don't
and
know
they
if
kind
it
of like
tasted the same. I'm not
they kind
positive
of like popped when you bit into them a little
because
bit.
it's full of like air on the inside,
Yeah.
so it's definitely like an airy treat. Whereas a cheese ball is cheese fully through, right?
And I
So
remember you could put the Dorito in your mouth and just put it on your tongue, and then just like close and have the tongue and the roof of your mouth like
crush
pop
it.
Yeah. So I think like fun factor on that, I'm
Okay,
probably going with the Doritos.
fair
It's a
enough.
little bit more. Plus, the Cheetos gets on your fingers and like, it makes your teeth all orange and
Stuck in the roof of your mouth.
yeah, a little less messy. I'm going with Doritos.
Keith.
Now, I don't think I've ever had a cheese ball in my life. So
Wow.
that
Okay.
I've seen them like more recently, but as a kid,
Yeah.
I don't think we had those, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they
Like we
came in
got
like a cylinder container, kind of like a Pringles, right?
yeah, no, I don't ever remember seeing those. We have obviously we have like the puffy Cheetos and stuff here,
Right.
but
Right.
I never had those. So I do remember the Doritos though, so I think I'm gonna have to go with that based on I have memories of that,
Yeah.
but I've honestly never had a cheese ball in my life. So I don't think I can pick that one.
Fair enough.
Oh, so you're
Fair
not
enough.
picking at all.
So
I'm
he
picking
went Doritos.
Doritos.
Oh, you
Yeah,
are
I'll
gonna
pick
go
the
Doritos
Doritos.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm,
Russ.
I gotta go with Planters. Planters cheese balls. Man, I throw those suckers back. Just eating them. I don't know. I'm pretty sure my dad bought a lot of the snacks growing up, and I might have seen the Doritos on there and thought they were neat, but they don't stand out as like a core memory or any of that. Eating it, definitely the Planters cheese balls were a fun snack to have. Now you can get freaking the big clear tub at like the grocery store with like 1,000 cheese balls in it. And many other companies do the cheese balls, but Planters say certainly a fun throwback snack.
Nice. Those are some good ones, guys. Those are some tough ones.
Rad or bogus? Hey, if you guys got topics and stuff you want us to, we could have a viewer suggestion one. You can leave it in the comment section, and we'll put it on Rad or Bogus. With that, we're finishing up. We're actually going to take a quick commercial break before we get into our main topic of the night.
When you decide to step up to this kind of power, this kind of challenge, this kind of flying, crashing, feeling, when you decide to get serious, there's only one place to come, the games of Super Nintendo. No one else creates this kind of experience, because no one else creates these kinds of games. Now you're playing with power, superpower.
All right, and we're back diving into this week's main topic. We're taking a look at some of our favorite movies growing up, and if they still hold up today as well. The list kind of varies from movies in the 80s and 90s, maybe some comedy stuff. I'll see if we have any overlapping, but we each made our own list. We'll chat about why we enjoyed them, and then beg the question, would it would still hold up today if you watched it? Who wants to start us off?
I want
David?
Keith to go.
You want
You
Keith
want
to
me to
go.
go?
I
All
want
right.
Keith to go.
First in his
Mine
hand.
are gonna be a little weird. So I'll go with my first one is gonna be Space Jam. Michael
Oh,
Jordan
okay.
and the
Oh,
Looney Tunes.
nice. That's a good one. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not weird, but it's a
That's
classic.
not. I mean,
Don't worry, it's gonna get weird for you.
Oh, okay.
okay.
I can see where it's going.
I think it's awesome, right? Like I watched that, like, on repeat. I had the VHS, and I would literally just put it on in my bedroom and just, play, goof around, do whatever, and it was just playing in the background because it was such an enjoyable movie, right? And I'd sit and watch some of it and then, do my thing, play GI Joes or whatever, right? But I think it still holds up. I haven't even watched the new one that they came out with because I didn't hear the best about it. So
Right,
I'm
right.
straight clear because I didn't want it to ruin any of the nostalgia I have
Sure.
for the original one with like it's got Bill Murray in it and stuff, right? Like it's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like that was a movie that could have just been left alone and didn't need like a remake or a reboot. I think, you know, I don't know. I'm tired of the comparisons of LeBron versus Jordan, you know?
Right?
So
Obviously, Jordan. Come on
it's
now.
Jordan. 100% all the way. You don't need I don't know.
No.
I mean, I've seen it a few times. I haven't watched it in quite some time. Maybe because to me, I'm gonna argue that maybe it doesn't hold up because I don't really have a desire to watch it anymore. So I think it's kind of run its course for me. But that's a little controversial opinion that I have.
Right. I haven't seen it in quite some time for sure. I did catch it in theaters, and I think it was a great collaboration having Michael Jordan, so
It
big
was. Yeah.
athlete, and then like the Looney Tune characters. You're like,
Bill
this is
Murray,
awesome.
Bill
And Bill
Murray's in
Murray
it.
jumping
Right?
in. You're like, what?
Yeah.
What is this
Yeah,
cameo? Like,
Yeah. And
yo,
all the other players that they steal the power from,
yeah,
all
right,
those
right.
little right? Like,
I certainly would give it a watch,
yeah.
but like Dave said, I'm unsure if it would hold up. Like if like if a child was watching it, right? If we're
yeah.
comparing to that, if you had a young kid watch that movie instead of the reboot one, maybe he wouldn't have the connect. He just like, I don't know who Michael Jordan is, and
Yeah.
didn't.
Right, right.
I don't
No,
know.
for sure.
That's true.
And
That's a
Definitely a
good
some of
great
the
sense of
movie,
that.
but
animation doesn't hold up, like 'cause I watched it a couple years ago, and some of the animation, I'm like, "This doesn't quite as good as I remember it being." So
okay,
Well, that's when
it
it was
probably
still
doesn't
hand drawn, right?
right? It had to
and
be, I
I think they
assume,
did
or
do a little bit of,
a
like,
mix.
CG, just a little bit, if
Yeah,
I remember correctly. I think that's what threw me when I rewatched. I was like, "Ooh, I don't remember doing this," but
yeah.
other than that, I mean, it's a classic for me, but does it hold up? If you're a Jordan fan, it might hold up a little bit, but yeah, I don't know, good one.
All right.
What do you got, Russ?
This one I had the VHS tape of and worn out because I watched it so much. And that's Wayne's World. Party
Oh, yeah.
time. Excellent. Now, I had never seen the SNL skit
Oh, really?
and no clue how this got onto my radar. Maybe one of my friends, um, we we played guitar growing up, so musicians. So maybe that had like, hey, let's check out this movie. It looks real cool, and it just was like so fun. I loved all the like singing with like Bohemian Rhapsody made that so like the
Mhm.
soundtrack to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That could be a whole nother thing. Like I got the soundtrack and listened to it constantly, and discovered new music from that. But I thought the story was great. Like these people making uh, a showdown in their basement. And in high school, I was in like AV club, and we had our own show on public access. So it was a little bit like you can kind of relate to that. So it just hit home and really enjoyed it. Even the second one was okay, but I watched that
Yeah.
first one so much.
And what a cast, right?
Absolutely.
no doubt.
Absolutely.
Was that the one? Because wait a minute, that was Rob Lowe was the villain, right?
Yep.
Hmm.
Rob Lowe, and then Christopher Walken was the villain in the second one, right?
I think it's been a while since I've seen the second one, but maybe.
Yeah, and then it had Chris Farley was in it.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, he played one of the camera guys or producers or something,
Is
and
it Tia Carrera? Is that
Tia Carrera.
the
Yeah,
love
I think
interest?
that
Yeah.
was her first movie, wasn't it? It might have been.
I feel like
Yeah,
maybe.
I always remember. Go ahead.
I will say I thoroughly enjoy their version of Ballroom Blitz opposed to the original. I'm
I
like,
agree.
with the girl singer, I'm like, it just hits way better. I don't know. It
Yeah.
just had more energy.
Yeah. I think the one scene that always stands out to me whenever I think of Wayne's World, and it's hitting me right now too, is when when Garth is in the diner
Yes. Yeah.
and he's got the donut,
Okay.
and
Oh, and
then
he's like,
he's like playing with the donut, and then he just starts stabbing it. He's like,
so many good. And then he has the foxy lady scene.
yes, yeah,
Foxy,
yeah,
where he's talking to his dream girl. The
yeah,
freaking
yep,
don't play Stairway to Heaven when he's looking at the
right,
guitar and he's like points to the
hmm
sign. Oh, denied.
yeah.
Right.
And you heard
Or
about the whole thing about that, right? With Stairway to Heaven about I think it was like the DVD release or something or other. They
They
couldn't
were
get the
trying to get
rights to it.
rights, right? But they still wanted.
So my brother would watch it and my brother would be like, "That's not even the beginning of Stairway to Heaven." So I was like, "Okay." I had never heard that song before, but my brother did.
Right, right.
Um, but dude, there's a lot of
there's so
quotes
many.
and like there's
Like the
so many
gun
scenes
rack.
in that. But you
There's a
I don't
severed
even
head in
own
this. I won't be
I don't
happy.
even own a
a gun,
gun,
never
let
alone
alone
many.
many guns.
So good.
Or the other one was when they're playing hockey in the street. That's where it
Yeah,
all
it was
came
really
from. Game
Car.
on,
oh yeah,
car.
car. Absolutely, we used to do that. So
Yep,
So
I mean,
good.
I
serious.
would argue definitely holds up today. I would
I would,
say. I would say
yeah,
this is a good one. Watch it if you haven't seen it. The first one, definitely a classic.
I would agree
Absolutely.
with you,
Yeah.
100%. My first movie, I have quite a few, obviously. I'm just gonna pick one at random here because they're not in any particular order whatsoever. But one of the ones that always stood out growing up was Karate Kid, the original.
Okay.
So we're going back to 1984 with that one. I mean, this one was just, I mean, Daniel LaRusso, Ali with an I, uh, and to this day, I'm there. I've given this a lot of thought, like when I'm listening to songs in the car, and one thing that I've been thinking about is, are there some songs that are such just like songs that you listen to in the car that you just cannot switch off or go to the next track? And I would say Cruel Summer is one of those songs for me. Whenever I'm in the car, it's on my playlist. It comes on. There's no way I'm ever skipping that track. But that movie, I can't count the amount of times we've watched it growing
Hmm.
up. I mean, it's also got the song "You're the Best"
Right.
when they're doing the tournament,
Yep.
and just the whole story of how Mr. Miyagi is teaching Daniel, but he doesn't know he's being taught
Right.
until
Right.
he's being tested. I mean, I'm gonna say there's a lot of life lessons in there. You don't realize it when you're watching it, but there's some life lessons in there to be had. And I'll tell you, I know it's in the beginning of the second one, but like after the tournament when Johnny's in the parking lot with his sensei with John
Right. Mhm.
Kreese,
Yeah, and you see
that I mean, what a
the
way to start
difference.
off a sequel. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like that's crazy. Um, Daniel coming out in Halloween when he's dressed as the shower. Uh, all
Right.
of
So he
Cobra
can't be seen.
Kai, right? All of Cobra Kai dressed as the skeletons. I mean, and then the Nintendo Switch released a Karate Kid game and it's based on the movie, and so like you can now relive it playing in the video game. It's one of my favorites. What about you guys?
Nice. I
Yeah.
enjoy it for sure. Yeah, and I think there's probably a resurgence with Cobra Kai series. Maybe people wanted
Absolutely.
to go back
Sure.
to the roots. And
Yeah.
so the game is a Karate Kid game, or is it a Cobra Kai game, Dave?
So there is a Karate Kid and a Cobra Kai game. I just picked up
Oh,
the
okay.
Karate Kid game. I think the Karate Kid game came out second. And myself and my daughter, we've been playing it together, and it actually she enjoyed it so much. I was kind of telling her the story about how it's based on the movie somewhat,
Oh,
and so
okay.
like she got interested to actually watch the original Karate Kid with me. So which was pretty cool.
Cool.
And 100%
Holds
holds
up.
up today,
Oh yeah.
my
For sure.
opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Nice.
Keith.
This is not going to hold up so well.
Oh
For
no.
sure isn't going to do. It's not going to do so hot. Beavis and Butthead do America.
Oh,
It's gonna
Love
get
this
weird.
movie. It's gonna get
This is
weird.
so
I warned
good.
ya. It's
Maybe
gonna
it
get
does.
weird,
Maybe it holds
right?
up.
Right?
Wow.
I mean, there's a resurgence with Beavis and Butthead. Now you can watch. There's new episodes
Okay.
on
Yeah.
Prime, I think, or Prime or Paramount
Okay.
has a whole new series of Beavis and Butthead. But I remember watching that as a kid, and I never got. We only had like 5 or 6 channels growing up, so I never got to watch the actual Beavis and Butthead. So my
Oh,
only
okay.
connection to Beavis and
Wow. It was a
Butthead
movie.
is Beavis and Butthead Do America, and I had the VHS, and I'd watch it all the time, and I kind of felt like a rebel because it was like, "Ooh, look what I'm watching!" Right? Cheesy, goofy Beavis and Butthead all the way through. I don't know. I think it might hold up just because it is
I
just these
I haven't
goofy
seen it
Beavis
yet
and Butthead.
recently. I haven't seen it recently. So I can't contend that it absolutely holds up, but I feel like if you grew up with it
Mhm.
and you watched it now, you still would enjoy it. I would say I want to try to stream some of the video games from Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
I had never beaten them, and I was like, you know
Yeah.
what, it'd be fun to just stream that. And I was watching a TikTok, and they had the SNES cartridge, and on the back of it, they wrote like the password, and it's like his girlfriend holding the cart, and she's like, it says hee ha, na ha ha, and he's like, no, it doesn't. It says ah, ah," like, and he's doing a perfect like Beavis impression, and I was like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna hold up, but I mean, I think I I mean, we're getting old, so like I think like the generation that of the age that we were when this movie came out, I don't think they're gonna understand it. I don't think they're gonna
Right,
get
like
it.
the jokes and stuff you
Probably
said.
not,
Right.
right? Yeah.
So
Right.
if we're pitching it to a younger audience, like, hey, check this out, does it hold up? Probably not in that aspect.
I
It's
don't
different from
know.
the commercial, the
I
cartoons
think
now.
you'd still chuckle at like the
Well,
crude
I
humor,
would.
right?
Right.
I even think like if you played it in front of like, a 20-year-old right now, they'd be like, that's stupid funny, right?
Right, right. Could
Like
be. I mean, they're doing skibbity and like toilet jokes, and I feel like
right?
it's kind of close.
I mean, it's better than eating Tide Pods for sure.
Oh
I mean,
man. Yeah,
so that's mine.
because
It
that
probably doesn't
happened.
hold up, but
Yeah,
you know,
Fair
pretty
enough.
funny.
What do we got? I'm up.
you're up, Russ.
I got to put Batman 89. I put on there just to differentiate. It's Batman with Michael Keaton that Tim Burton did,
Mhm.
with Jack Nicholson as the ghost, as the Joker. Fantastic, great. The soundtrack is Prince did the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I got it on vinyl. Just we just recently were talking about Mr. Mom, and he was coming off of doing Mr. Mom, and when they were like Michael Keaton's cast as the next Batman, it was like an outrage. They're like,
Right.
no way, like that guy as Batman, like everyone was against it. Tim Burton had a vision, and then when it came out, it was like this dark story, really turning it around, because prior to that, it was like Adam West, very campy, jokey, and not serious Batman.
Mhm.
So this kind of did a full 360, and I think
Yeah.
just like perfect execution for sure. And I got all the toys growing up just from that,
Yeah.
and got the Batman cowl from there, and heck, I mean, even the I have a Batman tattoo, and it's basically based on Michael Keaton's Batman, because it's um the NES version of Batman, which was based on that game. So yeah,
And
definitely
it was
fit
such
that.
an outrage because Michael Keaton was pretty much a comedian at
Yeah.
that time. So I maybe that was what the whole outrage was.
Yeah, can maybe comedian, maybe too like good looking like actor guy. I don't know. They were like expecting something different possibly from him, but everyone's now like, great job. I wish they
Yeah.
could have gotten the Tim Burton third film that he was working on to do the trilogy, because the first two
Yeah.
were such a great story and
And
everything.
like how you're talking, like, because yeah, like Adam West, the the bow, pam, bam,
Right.
slap, right? Like that was, you're right, it was campy and it was silly, and like he's running down the pier with a giant bomb, and then we go to Batman movies, and they were, like you said, dark and sinister. The first one was like tiptoeing into that darkness, and then the second one with like Penguin
Right.
was like dark, right? Like scary for kids that
Yeah.
were like
Yeah,
Batman
that would say,
fans,
yeah.
right? And then it just swings the other direction, right? We got
Right.
Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze and Jim Carrey as the Riddler all of a sudden, and then it just keeps on going, and whose codpiece is bigger eventually. It was Val Kilmer's for sure. But like, I don't know, it was a weird swing in Batman back and forth, right?
Yeah.
And it also set the tone because then you got the Christopher Nolan Batman.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Almost
then-
back to that
yeah.
grittiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But the original one for sure, so many iconic scenes in that. And again, I said the soundtrack was like perfect. It just helps set the scenes, the mood. Anytime with trust when the parade's going.
Yeah.
Hey, who do you trust? The bat or me?
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good one. And it certainly holds up today for sure.
would agree.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I would take those movies over the Christopher Nolan movies any day.
Yep.
Perfect.
That's my opinion. So for my next one, I'll go. Everyone knows that I like '80s movies, but I'll go one that's kind of pushing the envelope a little bit, and we're gonna go 1990,
Okay.
35th anniversary, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That was on my list.
That's on your list.
Yeah.
Great
So
one.
let's talk about it. I mean,
I will say again, grittiness, dark.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Not expected for this
The
kids' film.
90s.
well, they kind of
Right,
loosely based it more towards the comics versus the campiness of the cartoons. The one disappointment, Russ, what's the biggest disappointment we had as kids watching that movie? Come on, you know the answer to this.
Right.
There was no
Bebop
Bebop and
Rocksteady
Rocksteady.
because we're watching the cartoons and we're like, that's who they're
Right.
fighting, right? It's gotta
That's
be
right, and no
Bebop
Krang.
and Rocksteady.
But
But
we
I
got
did
the
hear
Shredder.
someone say that Kevin Eastman didn't want him in the movie.
Oh, is that right?
At least in the second movie, he didn't. I don't. Maybe it was saying to the first, but I was
Which is weird because we were all
We got
looking for
Toka
it
and
in the second
Razor,
movie.
so
Yeah.
right.
Uh,
But I mean,
I
I
mean,
guess
just
the direction. I mean, Shredder, yes, obviously the first movie, and
Yeah,
then maybe in
yeah.
the sequel you bring in so kind of a disappointment, but hey, we got the Shredder, right, and Splinter, and
right.
the core people are there.
Right. But the story is great. The what was great about it too, and you talking about the grittiness, is that what they could not do for the second movie is in the first movie they used their weapons. They were not allowed to use their weapons in the second movie because
Yeah.
they wanted to cater it more towards kids, and parents didn't like that they were using their weapons. But also for argument's sake, the comic books were extremely violent. Nothing like the cartoons. But between the animatronics, between the costuming, I feel as kids, and even to this day, that movie 100% still holds up, and we still want another Turtles movie like that.
Right.
I mean,
absolutely.
you can't really I can't think of another IP that has a movie that had puppets that now is CGI that we would say we want that again.
puppets.
We want the
Right.
puppets. They were
Like,
everything was just so well done, and I remember seeing it in the theaters.
Mhm.
I was huge on the Turtles then.
Yeah.
April O'Neil, Casey Jones. You also had Keno, the pizza delivery boy.
Right.
You had Danny, the little outcast that joins the Foot
Mhm.
Clan. And then we can't forget, like, what kid did not want to go and party and hang out at the Foot Clan's complex?
arcades,
skateboarding,
skateboarding.
like ramps. Dude, it was like everything you wanted. So like they did cater it towards kids. They were like, "Oh yeah, this is cool," and they gave us like that temptation. But then all these guys came in, and Ninja Turtles, they just and then oh guys, 35 years. Spoiler alert: Splinter at the end, just like with his little nunchuck and throws him off off
Yeah,
the tower.
Yeah.
Perfect.
so good. The only
100%
thing
holds
that I
up.
didn't like about it, I remember it distinctly as a kid watching it after watching the cartoons and being super into turtles when they explain that how they turtles became what they are and who they are,
Okay.
and Splinter is a rat
Rat and not
and not a
uh,
Rokusaki,
right.
and then
Rokosaki,
that's
yes.
the story of him, and I was as a kid, I remember being like, "That's not right, that's not how it happened," and then
Right.
loving the rest of the
Right.
movie, and I remember distinctly being like, "This isn't Turtles, what's going on here?" But that's the
Yeah.
only thing that I would even, you know,
I would agree
fault
with
it
you with
for
that.
at
Yes.
all.
I was disappointed as well. I was like, this
Because
doesn't make
then,
any
because
sense.
then that makes the rivalry with Shredder more
Real.
than just being
Yeah.
Right.
the pet of his
Right.
side.
Right. And he
Right?
scratched his eye.
Right.
Right?
Well, I don't know what the decision on that. Maybe the studio was like, "Oh, no one's gonna believe that." Where he touched a rat and now he becomes one because
Yeah.
he was near a rat.
Like,
We'll just
that's
make
the
the rat
only
become.
thing.
Well,
But
then the
then that
turtles. Well, then
would have
to
led
argument's
into
sake, the
Bebop and
turtles.
Rocksteady.
Right, but the turtles were turtles that grew big into turtles. So maybe that was kind of like the
But because he touched them too, right? So it would have been kind of the same blend, maybe.
right.
Who knows? Whatever. It was
Yeah.
still an
Anyways,
awesome
Exactly.
movie.
it's the only thing.
Right.
Pizza
Perfect.
Pizza Dude's got 30 seconds.
That's right.
Oh, no,
Who's
is
up,
it my
Keith?
turn again?
Keith's
Oh,
up.
no.
Let's
It's gonna
get
get
weird.
less weird. It's gonna get
Oh,
much
okay.
weird. Alright. Mrs. Doubtfire. I, like, strayed away from all these awesome
Hello.
ones that you're talking about. "I'm on my way, dear." Right? Like, it's so funny, I love it, I love it so much. The
Or the
run
cream
by
pie?
fruiting, right?
Yeah.
Whips the lemon at him, and it's Pierce Brosnan, right? Like, whack!
Yeah.
Uh,
He has to go
I
into
don't
the
know.
bathroom to change, like, when he's
Yeah,
at the restaurant, and then he has to keep changing back and forth,
right? He's doing the back and forth, right? And then
and then he
forgets which
comes
one
out
he
and he
is
still
and
has
goes
the
to
part of the
save.
face on. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
so
haven't I
funny.
haven't seen it
The
in
pie.
years, but
Oh,
definitely
Yeah.
great scenes in it.
And
it's
Sally
another
Field
one
was
that
in it as well.
yeah.
And was it one of the Lawrence brothers was in it, right? I
Yeah,
forget which
yeah.
one his name
Oh,
was, but
I don't remember the name.
the middle one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Russ is like, I don't have any recollection of this at all.
I remember the pie scene fantastic.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
the pie
they
Yeah.
scene.
didn't know what to do. He
Like,
puts the pie in the
dripping in the
face of.
coffee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, 1 lump or 2. Like, I don't
Or
know.
when he leans over the oven and his shirt and he's like
Yeah,
patting him
himself on
down.
fire. Yeah, like,
That's a good one.
Would
I
it
know,
would
Does
it
it
it's
hold
hold
up
up?
hilarious.
today? What do you
Would
think it
it
would
hold
hold
up
up?
today?
I think probably, like, I think it does have some interesting, like, story to it.
Still
I
relatable
guess
story.
it's yeah, it's the same as everything else though, right? Like, if a kid was watching it now, they'd be like, "What do you mean he's auditioning to be on TV? Like, what's this TV show? Like, is it streaming? What is it on Netflix? What's he doing?"
Right.
Right? So,
Right.
like,
Okay.
times have changed so much that maybe it wouldn't relate quite as easily. Again, back to
Mhm.
for us or, to show our kids and laugh with them about the funniness of it. I
Right.
think they would
Right.
enjoy it, but maybe the story, I guess, it is about, family separating and stuff like that. So that might still line up and the, you know, traversing that, but I think it's
I
hilarious. I
think
think it holds up
it's
a little bit.
I think it's give or take. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
I
it
think so.
does. It's hard to say, I think, on that one particularly,
Such a
especially
funny
with
actor too.
yeah, with everything that goes on in the world today. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a toss up for me.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Russ, what do you got?
little movie called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Ah, this is
So we're
such
talking
a
about the
great
first
movie.
one.
The first one. The
Okay.
first one. So good. Definitely a fun one for sure. And quotable. So many
Yeah.
quotes on this. I
Mhm.
remember just watching it. And again, futuristic stuff with time travel. You're like, oh, I gotta get all this fun time travel movies. They're using a phone booth to where that wouldn't probably make any sense to anyone today, right?
Not
If
at
you're,
all.
Right.
you're
Right.
watching it,
Not a
like, what is
clue what
that?
that is,
What
right?
is that relic?
And are there still Circle K's around?
There
Yeah,
might
we got
be.
Circle K in town. We
Oh, yeah?
You
just
You got one in
recently,
Canada?
yeah, we just recently got one, and there is something afoot at the Circle K. 100%.
Is there a phone booth out front?
No, there's a car wash out front.
Car
Okay.
wash.
Okay. They turned the Circle K into a car wash.
Yeah.
But certainly a fun movie concept. They have to pass this exam in school, or else Ted's going off to or Bill's going off to military school, and they're going to break up
Mhm.
the band essentially. So they have to ace it. And Rufus, George Carlin, comes from the future, and he's giving him the time machine. And they're like, "Oh, we're going to go back and let's grab all the people: Abraham Lincoln, Sigmund
Genghis
Freud,
Khan,
Genghis Khan,
Joan of Arc,
Joan of Arc,
Beef oven.
Beef
Just-
Oven.
Napoleon." Bringing
Yes.
him to the freaking
Yeah.
Bolorama. They have
Yeah.
their sisters
The
babysit
water
them.
park.
The water park.
Yeah.
Great
Will it
movie.
hold up though?
That's probably tough.
Well, they did do the remake, like
They
the
have.
reboot.
So
Like,
yeah,
they,
second one
yeah.
came out, and they did the third one where it's their kids.
Yeah.
I
which
did not
I
see the
watched.
third one yet.
It's good for what it is. Like how
Yeah,
Yeah,
where
right.
I
you gonna
agree.
go with it?
They
Does
were
it hold
just
up then?
goofy films, right?
Right.
I'd lean towards still, because I feel like this is where you can put the spin on it, where relevance today, kids know John Wick, right? So they're
Right.
gonna know Keanu Reeves, and maybe
Yeah.
they'll know Matrix stuff or whatever. So they're like, well, here's him when he was younger, essentially.
Yeah.
Fun
then
concept, and yeah.
And then what's his name was in a bunch of stuff too. He was in The Lost Boys.
Oh,
You
right.
remember that? He was in quite a bit of stuff. Can't come off the top of my head, but yeah, I mean, will it hold up today? I mean, it does for me. Like I still enjoy it. I do prefer. I think growing up, I kind of preferred the second one though.
Oh, Bogus
Like,
Journey
with Death,
with Death. Yeah,
William Sadler, who I got
enjoyed
to
that one
work
too.
with on a movie.
that's right.
And
That's right.
And when I
That's
worked with
cool.
him on the movie, I used to take photos. I did photos of for the poster. And so I got like my job was great because I really got to have one-on-one time with the actors to shoot photos of them for the posters. And he talked to me for a good 20-25 minutes of just behind the scenes stories working on Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. So he was telling me stories about how he had the bald cap and he would be sweating so much that they would have to put like a hose inside his bald cap to like get all the sweat water like
Oh.
coming out because it would like bulge up in his head. And then he was just telling me stories about working with Keanu Reeves, and dude, it was wild. So I don't know, maybe that's also why like I started leaning a little bit more towards Bogus Journey
Bogus
because
Journey.
like yeah, but I remember seeing Bogus Journey in the theater and remember like they had Station, like the little creatures
Yeah.
and they did all that stuff. They built the
The robot.
the robots.
Oh yeah, Bill and Ted Robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was evil Bill and Ted, like so like there were
Oh,
so
yeah,
many
yeah.
mayors to that movie.
Yeah.
So
Definitely a
I
good movie.
I lean towards that
The
one.
Bogus
but,
Journey instead. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
nice.
So my turn?
Go for it.
Okay, let's go for it. Okay. It's baseball season, guys. I'm going 1989 Major League. My
Okay.
favorite baseball movie of all time. I really would love to get it in to name that quote, but I don't know if there's a quotable uh quote in there that's acceptable language for this podcast. But what's funny about it is like it came out in 1989. Like what
Okay.
was I, 9 years old, 10 years old watching it, and like my dad let me watch it and it was hilarious. And like I mean, growing up as a kid, you know about the language and you don't say bad words and whatever, but like I think we were just taught like not to say it, but if we heard it, like it was funny. So dude, Major League is in my opinion the greatest baseball comedy of all time. I mean, there is no question about it. So many memorable characters. You got Willie Mays Hayes, you got Rick Vaughn, you got Pedro Serrano. Oh man. And like when the coach is like the guy the the third baseman comes over to him, Roger Dorn, and he's like, "Oh, see this in my contract. I don't have to do any of these calisthenics if I don't see necessary." And he just takes the contract, throws it on the ground, and starts peeing on it.
He's like, there you
I
go.
mean, come on.
So funny.
There's so many good things about that movie. Uh, where'd you play last year? California Penal. Like, just so good. And then, what's his name? Willie Mays Hayes. Like, actually, funny story about this is that's how I learned the distinction of Willie Mays Hayes and Willie Mays, the actual baseball player, because I would make reference to Willie Mays Hayes as Willie Mays, and my dad is the one that corrected me and was like, "There is no real character of Willie Mays Hayes. The actual baseball player was Willie Mays." And so, like, my dad was teaching me, baseball things back then about
Mhm.
it, and so yeah, so it's just so much nostalgia about this. My dad loved watching it. I love watching it. It's just so quotable and
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
they didn't really hold up like well, I should say this. The second one and the third one definitely not as good because they went down to like a PG-13 rating, and I think that that's where the charm was. It was just the vulgar language in the first one that just made it even
Right.
better. Even the Japanese guys that are like taking care of the field, like doing all of the grounds crew work, they're speaking to each other in Japanese and it's subtitles in English and they're just cursing up a storm too. And then Randy Quaid is in it. He's the heckler in the outfield. He plays Cousin Eddie in the National Lampoon
National Lampoon. Yeah,
Vacation
yeah, yeah.
movies. So he's the heckler in center field that's always heckling all the players. He's like, "Oh no, bring out the pooper scooper. We're all done." And it was dude, so good. You guys seen this movie, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Keeps like
tons of
never,
times.
never.
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. It's another awesome one, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any
Me
Again,
notable parts?
uh, what they got when they won the season or whatever for every right. That's what the
Oh, yeah,
team
yeah,
got,
you
Oh,
have to
oh,
feel
right.
a section. Yes,
right?
yes,
Because
of
I
the
honestly, as a
owner.
kid, I felt like watching
Right.
it, like, ooh, this is
Right.
I shouldn't be watching this, but I
Yeah.
was enjoying it anyways, right? So
Yeah, and I remember my dad, with the coach. I forget the actor's name that played the coach, but my dad would always say how he in my dad's opinion, he always had the coolest voice,
yeah.
like, just speaking voice, and it was, like, really raspy and dark, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, deep,
Hmm.
and so, like, I always remember that too because I remember him having the conversation with a friend of his about how he had such a cool voice. How
Nice.
about you, Russ?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely enjoyed the movie. My dad played it for me, and I wasn't big into sports or anything, but definitely held my entertainment, and I chuckled.
Nice. I think it holds up 100%.
Yeah, I would agree. This is a sports movie, so I think it still lines out.
Nice.
Cool. Keith, you're up.
All right. Transformers the movie.
Like the animated one
The
or the
animated movie
okay.
where they were like, we need to make more toys. And they
Yes.
just like offed half of the characters that we absolutely loved. Like the Decepticons take the ship and they're just blasting characters, and
Left and
Ironhide's
right.
crawling across the ground and he grabs a hold of Megatron's leg and Megatron just takes him out, right? And I'm just in tears the first time I watched it. And then just, loved it after that. I don't know. It's one I would watch continually because I love the Transformers, and the movie had just brought all these new characters in that I thought were pretty cool too.
So I just heard something because I went to a toy show. Do you guys know why they killed off Optimus Prime in that movie? Nope.
Toy sales?
No. Did have a lot to do with toy sales. So the death was a plot device driven by the toy company
Mhm.
for Hasbro's desire to introduce new characters to toys, marking a shift in the franchise.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting. I mean, it was wild. It was wild as a kid to like,
Right?
dude, Optimus Prime? Really?
You're like, I would have never expected
Because then you're thinking, like, is that the end of Optimus Prime? Like, we're never
Right?
going to see him again?
Like, so many favorites, they just eliminated, like, just whoosh, done, whoosh, done,
Yeah.
right? Like, my buddy's kid is into Transformers, and I don't know if they've watched it yet, but I remember we were talking about it, and he was like, "Oh, there's a movie? I wanna watch the movie." And my buddy was like, I don't think you're ready for that one yet. That's gonna get a
Mm.
little traumatizing, right, as a kid, to just watch these characters you love get annihilated,
Yeah, seriously.
right?
Jeez.
What do you
But
think, Russ?
It's been a while since I seen
Yeah,
that one.
same.
I will say I had a similar reaction to the G.I. Joe movie because they killed Duke off in that.
yeah,
And I'm like,
Okay.
what's with killing these main characters of like
right?
in the movie?
Now we know that as grown-ups that it was all,
Plot devices.
greedy Hasbro's fault.
Absolutely,
They
right?
wanted to make more toys.
And
I mean,
give
they
me
didn't
more
kill off
toys,
any of the Ninja Turtles. We still got a lot of Ninja Turtle toys.
That's
right?
true.
So,
It
yeah,
doesn't hold.
maybe if you're watching the original series, like, I don't know, there's
Right.
lots of new series.
Because they did just
Transformers?
release a new animated Transformers 1, I think it's called,
Mhm.
that just came out,
So,
which I haven't seen, but I heard people had good reviews. So
Sure. I mean, I feel like with cartoons, they're always, you know, rebooting and having new
yeah,
series and everything like that. So, would it hold up today? I mean, it's part of history for the
yeah,
franchise, but I mean, is a younger kid going to go and watch that over a newer Transformers movie, especially now that they have the live
Mhm.
action ones?
right.
yeah,
I'm not
Probably not.
100% sure about that.
probably not, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're a parent that brings your kid to the original series and is like, has the box set or finds it on YouTube or whatever and sits down with your kid and is like, "We're gonna watch this," and get
Yeah.
them in a Transformers that direction, then I
Yeah.
feel like it's kind of a integral part of the story as the story continues. Again,
Mhm.
it's gonna be traumatizing for that kid, depending on the age, but, like, because we had how many episodes of that series after that place where that happened, right? That we had
Right.
Ray
Right.
Rodimus and all that stuff, so probably doesn't hold up now, but those classic cartoons are pretty epic at the same time, so
Yeah, for sure. Russ, you're up.
Got my last one.
Last one.
No obvious here, but Back to the Future, right? Definitely watched the heck out of it. Enjoyed it so much.
We're
Brought
talking
up
the first one again?
the first one, yeah,
First one,
yeah.
okay.
Just going back to the original format there, and I said I just recently seen it with the orchestra playing the soundtrack to it, which was fantastic, and it's definitely one I'll be watching far into the future.
And you would
where
say
we're
that this
going, we
is
don't need roads.
Right.
I feel like this is your favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, and it's funny, like seeing it again, even in theaters, like watching it, I had noticed like little things where I'm like, oh, like, did you notice in the opening, Doc has all these clocks, and then there's a
Mhm.
particular clock, and it has a guy hanging from one of the hands, foreshadowing Doc
Yeah.
would be doing the same thing later on in the movie. I had never noticed that before, and I was like, oh, something new.
I mean, you got the flux capacitor fluxing in the background.
I do, yep. So,
What about you, Keith?
And I would say, for me, definitely holds up with that aspect.
Of course, yeah.
One of my favorite movies of all time as well. So I think it holds up. Again, back to a kid was watching it. Some of the stuff that we're gonna see in it, they're gonna be like, "What is that? What do you? What? Why would? What is that?" Yeah, it might be a little different, but I think it holds up as just a great movie as a whole. Like, just in general, the back and forth, the connections between the two timelines. That's great. It's a great movie.
I think the only I'm gonna say this movie's perfect, right? We all love this movie, especially like was it there was a scene also, Russ, I think you also told me about how the Twin Pines Mall, the sign changes as well.
Right.
Because then it's not the Twin Pines anymore or something.
Because when
What
he's
was that?
Change history.
when he leaves the barn that he's in, he drives over one of the pine trees. So then it's the Lone Pine Mall instead of having the two.
Right. Those are just little details that they
Right.
do in it. The only thing that bothers me about this movie, there's one thing that bothers me, and I'm sure it bothered a lot of people. Marty goes into the past.
Right.
His mom's dad hits him with the car. She falls in love with him. Does she not think it's weird that her son later in the future looks exactly like that kid?
And also, why wouldn't they name their first kid? Is he the older one? I don't think
Yeah,
he's the older one.
he's
Like,
the
why wouldn't
youngest one.
Like, why? Because
He's
they
the
were
youngest.
just coming off of like,
Yes.
hey, thanks for setting us up. Like, wouldn't they want to name their first kid Marty instead of their last kid?
Right.
But
But that's the only thing that always bothered me is like,
Yeah.
well, the mom fell in love with him in 1955. Does she not remember that this is exactly what he looks like?
Just wasn't that strong of a connection, apparently. It's just,
And they didn't name him
passable.
Calvin.
right.
Calvin
They
Klein?
didn't name it. They didn't name any
He's
of
got
their
written
kids
on his
Calvin.
underwear.
Right. I mean, one of the memorable scenes too is you know, Van Halen. What was it when Darth Vader comes down
Right.
from the planet Vulcan,
Yeah.
and then he blasts Van Halen.
So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, but no, that's a perfect movie. I mean, don't touch it.
Yes.
Don't make any
Amazing.
reboots. Please leave it
Dude,
alone.
please don't touch it.
Don't touch it. It's perfect. All right, so we're doing one more. Am I the last one?
Yeah, your last one. Yep.
Last one. Okay. Well, Russ did his favorite movie of all time, so I'm gonna do my favorite movie all time. 1984, Ghostbusters. Let's talk about it because it is a perfect movie. It's a perfect script. I mean,
Good
I can't
special
find
effects on it.
good
Really
special
good.
effects. 1984 special effects. I just watched that movie and cinematically, it's just a beautiful, perfect
It is.
movie. The scenes and what also was great is, back in the day when we had the CRT TVs, everything was in a box. And then later down the road, when they started releasing things in widescreen, it opened up like a lot of people made uh, very big distinctions of scenes in that movie. Like for instance, when you watched the elevator scene when they're going up to get Slimer,
Mhm.
in the if you were to watch it on TV on your CRT, you're not seeing Egon in it because he's kind of in the back.
Oh,
And
okay.
it was not until you got the DVD release where they would turn on the proton packs and then you would see them kind of like backing off because they had a nuclear accelerator on their back.
Right.
So
Yeah. That's
yeah, so like there's like little things that you would catch because of the wide format. I did go see it a few years ago in the movie theater again, which was great. But I mean, so many quotes. The one oh, I don't know if you guys realize this, but one of the funniest things about this movie, story aside, I mean, it's part of the
Okay.
story, but like it's not in like an intentional thing.
Mm-hmm.
But Rick Moranis' character, he plays the Keymaster,
Right. Right.
but he's always locked out of his apartment. So they
That's a
made
funny.
that kind of distinction where like he's the keymaster, but yet he always gets locked out of his apartment and is like, well, how is he the keymaster? And so that's always a really good like little sides, like little things that they kind of like, played with and with the character developments. And Sigourney Weaver, great. Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd. I mean, uh Harold Ramis. It was written by Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd. And it still holds up, guys. My daughter
Absolutely.
watches this, and she loves it. She plays with all of the real Ghostbusters toys. She still plays with my Firehouse. I've introduced her to the new ones, the Afterlife. Like the franchise they have built has been great. And there's not many franchises that continue. Like you can even compare it to like, well, Ninja Turtles started out as their original movies, but now their movies aren't even related to the originals. Like the fact that generation to generation they're still coming out with Ghostbusters and they all relate to one another is
Except for that girl one.
That's a feat, except for the girl one. We don't talk
We
about
don't talk
that
about
one.
that.
No. But the fact that Ivan Reitman is now he directed the first one, he wrote the first one, and now Jason Reitman, his son, is leading the way with the new Ghostbusters. And I just found out recently that in Ghostbusters 2, do you remember the opening scene when they go to the birthday party?
Okay.
And they're doing the birthday party and they're singing, and then one of the kids is like, "Oh, I thought it was gonna be He-Man."
Right.
Well,
Right.
the kid that goes up to the mom and is like, my dad says you're full of crap. That kid,
Okay.
that's Jason Reitman. That's Ivan
Oh, okay.
Reitman's son.
Well, nice.
Jason Reitman later does the Afterlife and the Frozen Empire movie. So to me, perfect movie, no question. My favorite movie
Yep.
of all time.
Still holds up. I agree.
Sweet. So yeah, some of the movies us watching growing up that we enjoyed. Maybe you guys saw them, maybe you didn't. We'll see what you guys said. I did ask you guys on some social media. Let's see what you said.
What did you say? What did you say?
Springfield, let's hear from you.
What do we got here on Instagram? Ty Gaming coming in. There is still so many great movies from the 80s. Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Ghostbusters, all still hold up. There is still one movie that my family and I watch every year. In fact, it came out right near the end of the 80s on December 1st, 1989, and that is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
So good.
That's a staple to watch during every
Christmas.
holiday.
Yeah.
I do have a poster. My buddy Tom Ryan's an artist, and he did a poster that says the shitter's full, and it's a like silhouette, and it's fantastic. So, got to break that one out.
He has his I've been to his condo, and he actually has that one hanging in his bathroom.
Yeah, you had to decorate for the holidays. Throw that one in the bathroom.
Perfect.
Let's see, and then what do we got here on YouTube community page? Colby Purge and Splurge Thrifting. As a kid, my all-time favorite movie was 1988's Big with Tom Hanks, a fantasy movie about a boy who wishes he was big, playing a Zoltar machine so he could get on the ride of the roller coaster and be more of what older girl he has a crush on is into. I absolutely loved this movie as a kid and will rewatch it as an adult from time to time. I feel like it 100% still holds up and still something I enjoy watching like when I was a kid. Really good supporting cast, including John Hurd, who played the dad in Home Alone, and his best friend Billy, who is the only one who knows his secret until the end of the movie. 10 out of 10, recommend it. Also got to say, Mrs. Doubtfire. It's probably one of the best movies I remember watching growing up. Kids are going through the parents' divorce, and all Robin Williams wanted to do was provide and be a good dad or a good dude. Maybe he meant dad. Have fun.
Dad too. Yeah.
Enjoy life and laugh. And we got River City Ransom. Back to the Future will forever hold up, in my opinion, as the best overall 80s movie of all time. It's the perfect script, but if I'm nitpicking, there is one thing that always bothered me. Marty changes history. Instead of his dad getting hit by the car, he gets hit by the car and his mom falls in love with him. However, when he returns back to 1989, no one thought that Marty looked 100% identical to the Marty that hooked up his mom and dad at the dance.
There you go.
There you go.
Yep.
Dave was saying it already. Fantastic.
I mean, there's so many movies that, I mean, we can go on for hours and hours and hours. I mean,
Absolutely.
I have another 5 more on my list, and that was just scratching the surface.
I got some
Yeah.
other weird stuff too, but we're moving on.
We're moving on.
Same.
Nice. Hey, we got some voicemails we can get to. If you guys want to call into the show, we do have a phone number. That's 949-682-9277. If you guys hit up the weekly warpipe.com, it's listed right there. And I think you could just call straight from your phone.
Yes, you can.
So you can leave us a voicemail about anything. You can ask us some questions or chime in about the topic.
I keep dreaming about my dream phone. It's for you.
Hey, Warp Pipe, it's Killer Carp, your friend from Instagram, calling again. I got a little story about Donkey Kong Country that I thought you guys might like to hear.
Nice.
My best friend growing up got it for Christmas, but before Christmas, because he had an aunt who lived in Texas. We're from Connecticut. The package came wrapped in what was clearly an SNES-sized box and was put under the Christmas tree and not to be opened until Christmas. Well, my friend, slick as he was, with an X-Acto knife, slid open very carefully the wrapping paper on one end, and then slid open very carefully the cellophane, and pulled out just the cartridge, and played the game, beat the game, got 100%, put it back in the box, sealed it back up, and then opened it on Christmas, and pretended like nothing had happened. And no one was any the wiser. And that is a hilarious story to me. So whenever I play Donkey Kong Country, I think of not only how good my friend was at the game, but how good he was at sneaking an early play before Santa delivered the presents.
Nice.
See you guys.
That's a good one. No one noticed when he fired it up and it had a save file already. Loaded. I will say I've done something similar where I got for Christmas, I wanted this. I believe it was a Christmas soundtrack, but the band Bush was on it. And I wanted to hear the song so bad. So I had on the CD, like I peeled back that little sticker on the top, popped the CD in, like gave it a listen, and then sealed it all back up and opened it on Christmas Day. Not as cool as playing a full video game and beating it and putting it back, but all right, who we got? Scott called in.
Hey guys, this is Scott, aka Another Bald Nerd. Just thought I'd chime in on the conversation about favorite 80s movies and if they hold up. And of course, the 3 you put in the thumbnail, Back to the Future, E.T. and the Goonies, those are phenomenal films. But just to throw in a few extras in there for nostalgia facts or movies that have made an impact on my life while growing up. In 1989, they released The Little Mermaid. That was my first movie that I ever saw in theaters as a 5-year-old kid.
Nice.
So that's an important movie to me. Other movies that kind of, like I said, made an impact. We've got the Indiana Jones series. Of course, we have Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back. Star Trek, number 4, The Voyage Home. That was a huge one for me growing up. And we have movies like Short Circuit, Top Gun, Crocodile Dundee, The Dark Crystal, Land Before Time. Also, The Man from Snowy River. I could go on and on, but Harry and the Hendersons. All these films just kind of helped me develop, my taste in movies while growing up. And do they hold up? I mean, I think for the most part, for me personally, they do. But they hold that level of nostalgia. They hold that level of impact for me. Are my kids going to enjoy these movies? Maybe, maybe not. It just depends on the context of what their interests hold. But for me, they totally hold up. Um, Thanks again, guys. Keep up the great work. Love the podcast. Bye.
Excellent. Appreciate calling in. Yeah, good movies for sure. Harry and the Hendersons. Oh,
John
They-
Lithgow in that movie.
they
Yeah.
made a TV series about that too. We'd have to chat about one time.
do remember that. Yeah.
Let's see. I got one more voicemail.
Hey, what's up, my weekly War Pipers? It's your buddy NES Addict. Just wanted to make a quick comment on the weekly rental Donkey Kong Country. That game is worth playing alone just for the ambient aquatic music. I don't exactly know what it's called, but the first time I ever heard it, I about lost my mind because it was so freaking awesome. Also, do yourself a favor. Listen to Phil Collins. Take Me Home. All right, guys. Have a good one.
What was it? Take Me Home?
Phil Collins, Take
Phil
Me Home.
Collins.
Jay wants you to listen.
Okay. We'll listen to that song and we'll talk about it next
Report
week.
back.
And
Report back to Jay.
All right, rocking and rolling here. Are we doing War Pipe? Are we doing Wheel of Doom? You guys want to do a Wheel of Doom or
Well, let's do it. We got some time.
Spin it.
Spin the wheel.
spin the wheel? I got to bring up the wheel. Welcome to Wheel of Doom. We got a bunch of different topics listed on this wheel. We're going to spin it at random and then chat about whatever topic it lands on the next 10 minutes or so. Let's give it a shuffle and a spin. Almost. Okay, staying in that one.
Okay.
Was Super Mario Bros. 2 USA a true Mario
Oh.
game or a weird reskin?
Oof. Okay. Who wants to take this one?
I mean, we in the US didn't know any better, right?
No.
We didn't
No.
know any other game existed
No.
outside of
I
that.
feel
that
like
looked
we
similar.
knew though.
Did
I
we?
still feel
Yeah?
like we knew, right? Like you put that one in the system
And it's so different from the
and
first
it
one.
just is like night and day. It just feels so much different than the first one.
But
And the
Nintendo
third
did
one,
own it.
yeah.
Like Nintendo owned it. I mean, it was the cover of the very first Nintendo Power.
Mhm.
I mean, they made zero. When did we actually find out that it was Doki Doki Panic?
When was
Let's think
the
about
internet
that.
made?
Yeah,
When was the
when
internet?
when was last year?
We had
I
no
don't know.
idea.
I feel like I always internally knew that it wasn't originally
A Mario game.
a Mario game. I don't
Because
know
of
why.
so many different new elements. Like, okay, you're not
Yeah.
jumping on enemies' heads anymore. You have to
Right.
throw stuff at them.
Yeah,
That's weird.
I don't see a single enemy that I've ever seen before in the first one, right?
Mhm.
I
I
feel
to
mean,
that
they
argument-
introduced
I'd say,
so
yeah.
many characters that we have still,
Right, staple characters, yeah, that made it.
and without that, we wouldn't have them.
It's
This
true.
is
But in the
true.
moment, I don't know.
It's a good one.
I mean, here's the thing though. Like, I mean, you could make the same argument for Mario 3. I mean, Mario 3, we never had maps before. I mean, it was
We
still a
had
different game
Koopas
from
and
Mario.
Goombas.
We did. But they're still using Shy Guys to this day.
Yeah, they are.
There's still, there's still elements that they're still using today.
Mhm.
It also, I mean, you take Mario 3 away, Now, isn't it like in today's new generation games of Mario, the princess floats, Luigi has like his crazy jumps,
Right.
Mario's like you're all around, and Toad's got speed. So it set the tone for future
It
games as
does.
well.
Because they committed. That's one thing, like Russ was saying, like, and Dave was saying, like, Nintendo committed to that. They're like,
Yeah.
nope, this is it. This is what it is. This is
I
gonna
mean,
be.
it was weird that there was no Bowser.
Right. But to the point of, I feel like we wouldn't have known, because you look at, if you enjoyed the Castlevania series, Castlevania 1 plays like arcade, like left to right. You go, well, this, you get the Castlevania 2. Now it's like open world, and you're like, okay, we just accepted it. Like, it's the second
Yeah.
one. It's a little
Right.
Zelda. You play Zelda, then you get Zelda 2, and you're like, it's a little different. So when Mario 2 came out, we're like, fits the format. It's a little different. Maybe they're figuring out the hardware a little bit better, and the graphics look better now, instead of, had we gotten Super Mario Brothers 2 Japan, we
Oh,
wouldn't have enjoyed it. It's just Mario
it would have
1 with
derailed
harder
it.
levels.
Exactly.
And because of the difficulty, it could have turned a lot of people off to Mario altogether.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I think Nintendo made the right decision. I think,
They
you
did,
know, and
but it's still a weird reskin.
it is. It is a reskin for sure. I did see some gameplay of some people playing through Doki Doki Panic, and from what I understand,
Mhm.
is that there still are differences between the two. So they
Yeah.
did change some stuff specifically for US versions. Um, I would love to share a story though, because Mario 2 has like I still, and I might have mentioned this in prior podcasts, but I could still picture it in my head today that the day I went to school, Mario 2 was coming out, and my mom picked us up from school, and she had Mario 2 waiting for us in the car. She went to Service Merchandise that day, and it was the last one on the shelf, she said.
Yeah, yeah.
Other stores, it was sold out everywhere. But I still remember, and I could picture it, getting in the car, opening up the plastic bag, pulling out Mario 2, and being like, let's
Ready to go.
go. This is fun. And to this day, I think Mario 2 might be one of my favorite retro Mario games. I said it. I said what I
Wow.
said.
So it would be a true Mario game. I feel like the answer has to be yes. Yes, it is a true Mario game, because we already stated they took a lot of stuff from this game that are now staple enemies or power-ups in future Mario games.
Do you
That
think that if they did not do that, do you think that it would be a throwaway game?
that they didn't continue anything
Like
from
if they
this?
didn't commit.
Yeah.
Right. It probably would have
Like if
been
we never
lost.
saw
Yeah.
Shy Guy again, ever.
Right,
That
right.
was the
Yep.
only Shy Guy you ever saw was Mario 2.
That
I
would
mean,
Birdo was
we
be,
the
haven't
only.
seen Wart since then either.
I know, I wanna warp back so bad. Like, throw him in Smash Brothers, whatever, like, it doesn't have to be in a game,
Okay,
but
so see, there's
that's
another
the only
answer.
throwaway. Yeah.
Russ is literally like, I want to see Wart again.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
I
elements of
feel
that
like
game.
it's a weird reskin that Nintendo made into a true Mario game because they committed. That makes
Right.
sense.
And maybe did they start really committing once the news came out that it was a
They're like, "Well,
reskin?
we're busted."
We're busted. Let's get this stuff into new games.
I mean, they committed to that one more than they committed to like Mario Land enemies, right? Like we look at
True.
like a Game Boy game that was
Mhm.
developed, made to be a Mario game. We've got Koopas that have exploding shells. We've got, a bunch of the characters in that were throwaways, basically,
Yes. Right.
Mhm.
right? I mean, they kept Daisy, but 90% of the rest of them gone, right?
Yeah, whatever happened to
So-
those what were they, like mosquitoes or whatever
Yeah,
that
the
were
right?
like
top,
pumped?
yeah.
So like Nintendo really committed to number 2, and we're like, this is what it is. Yeah, it's a weird reskin, but this is now
Also, I'm thinking
canon.
we had to have found out fairly early because wasn't on Super Mario All Stars, wasn't there the lost levels on
Yep.
that? And you're
Yes.
like, what? You're
Yes.
like,
There
what
was,
is
yeah.
this? What is the law?
Mhm.
How do they lose levels? And that's
Yep.
Mario 2
Right,
that we never
right.
got.
Well, that was on Super Nintendo, so
Right.
was
Wasn't
that
far
before
out.
the internet as well?
I feel like the internet's
I
been
don't
around a lot longer than we think.
I
I
would
don't
say
know.
so.
When did Mario All Stars release? Let's check that out.
I'll
Mario
say
All-Stars.
94. I'm going to go with it.
Yeah, I would say
All right.
92 or 94.
Super Mario All Stars was released in 1993.
All right, we're close.
So it was released in Japan on July 14th, 93, and in North America on August 11th of 93. So that is predating the internet. So they released that. So they were already telling us that there was another lost
Mario game. Right.
Yeah.
But I don't think they ever told us that it was a Japanese
They
only release.
No, I don't think they I don't know, you'd have to read a manual for that, but I don't think they were like, this is the reason why there's lost levels, and it's
Right,
because
right.
this is Doki Doki Panic
Right.
reskin.
And then people got
So-
interested and they were like, oh,
Mhm.
the internet came out. Let's do a deep dive.
Right?
So is it a true Mario game?
We say yes.
Because they committed the weird reskin that became a true Mario game.
Now bring Warp back and put him in a game.
Do it.
Sweet. Wrapping up this week's episode, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the weekly Warp Pipe. We're getting into the rental. If you guys need a reminder, we are going to be playing Metroid Zero Mission this week for the Warp Pipe rental. Pop it in your Game Boy Advance, maybe into your GameCube player so you can play on the TV. Give it a go. Let us know your thoughts. We'll post that up on our social medias where you can find us at the Weekly Warp Pipe on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and you can definitely check out our website, www.theweeklywarpipe.com. We got a bunch of stuff updating on there, so always check that for latest episodes and cool stuff. What are we covering next week, Dave?
So because we're recording this early this week, we typically record on Wednesdays, right? Well, this Wednesday, we're getting the new Nintendo Direct talking about the Switch 2. Because we're recording Monday, we cannot talk about it this week. So we will talk about it next week as our main topic, the Nintendo Direct Switch 2. It's going to be a week and a half after, but you know what? We're still going to talk about it. It's going to be a good time. I'm very interested to see what's going to be said. And we didn't mention it earlier, guys, but we did get Metroid Prime announced.
Right,
So
for this past direct, yeah.
that's out there. Can I say this really quick? I think they did Metroid Prime dirty this week when they announced Metroid Prime on the Nintendo Direct. The reason I say that is because as I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, well, what is going to be the big announcement at the end, right? They announced Metroid Prime in the middle of the Direct.
Right.
And for a game that's been in production for what, over 10 years now, you would think that they would do it a little bit better justice, maybe even wait until the Nintendo Direct for the Switch 2. But they just, like nothing, threw it away like in the middle of the Direct and then ended with the Tamagotchi game. Now, I don't know anything about that game, but apparently it's very
Those
popular.
people have been waiting 12 years. I read the comments.
Well, I've been waiting 10 years for Metroid Prime announcement.
Fair enough.
So Nintendo Direct Switch 2, we will talk about on the next podcast.
Excellent. Quick shout out to our sponsors. We got Bull Airs sponsoring the podcast. If you guys want to save anything on your checkout, picking up stuff, you can use the code WARP10 at checkout to save 10% off. He just did the release of the Zelda sneakers, their low top SB Dunk shoes, original Legend of Zelda, so like a green color, and then he did the Tears of the Kingdom color ones, which are great. Check them out.
You doing okay over there?
I need a drink of water. I've been talking for too long.
And guys, the pre-orders for the sneakers and the merchandise for Bull Airs is ending on April 11th. So you have a little bit of time. And like Russ said, use Warp 10. You'll save 10% off of your order. Go show Bull Airs some love. Visit their website. They got a lot of cool stuff. bullairs.com.
Nice. Quick shout out to our Patreons as well, supporting the podcast. We got Dan and Nicole's Treasures Untold, Trace Livingood, Samantha Chang, Rodney Torres, Retroholic16, and Austin Mills. You guys can support the show, patreon.com/Russ Lyman, or if you're watching on YouTube, you could become a channel member as well. If we want to find you guys, where can we find you, Keith? What are you doing?
Check me out on YouTube, Retro Cart Collector. New video every Sunday morning. And I'm also on Instagram, Retro Cart Collector. Check me out there. Where can they find you, David?
So I'm working on my first video to come back to YouTube. I started it today. I got a new logo. Nothing's up there yet, but it's being worked on right now. And you can follow me right here at David Apuzzo on YouTube. If you can't find me, look up Dave, it's me, and I'm on there as well. So hopefully the video will be out soon. I'm taking my time with it. I want to do well. So that's it. That's where you find me. And you go on Instagram, David.Apuzzo and Weekly Warp Pipe. You know this. You know the joke. You guys know.
Perfect. And if you guys want to check me out and all my personal stuff, Russ Lyman on YouTube or Russ Lyman on Instagram, TikTok, all that fun stuff. Doing my best to put out some videos, so subscribe, check them out. We got some game videos, we got some Let's Plays, and we're gonna have some cool stuff in the future as well. That wraps it up for here, guys. We appreciate you jumping in the warp pipe with us. And as always, we'll see you on the next level.